The final, Hi, good morning. Thank you. Man, these cameras, I'm messing with my hair. I need to stop. Thank you for our last series on the Mommy Baby series. We have invited UT Health. They are putting on a presentation about exercise. We are super excited. We have some medical students as well this time. I'm Angela Montez. I am one of the nurse supervisors for the Nurse Family Partnership Program here at the Children's Shelter, where we provide a variety of services. But I'll get a little more into that later. Right now, we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation. All right. Oh, okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Winona Bidet. I'm a medical student, and I'm here today with a couple of other medical and nursing students to talk to you about exercise and mental health during pregnancy and postpartum. So, how much exercise do you need in the day? The truth is, it depends. So, the guidelines on this slide right here is for everyday healthy adults, but we're going to talk about pregnancy and postpartum as well. So the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, is a national organization that works to put together guidelines on how we can be healthy and prevent disease. So as you can see on the slide, a healthy adult needs at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise a week. And there are a couple of other combinations that you can take as well to achieve this goal. Aerobic exercise is what we think of as cardio. And the ways you can achieve this exercise goal is to get at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise a week, like I said. So that's about 30 minutes a day of exercise for 5 days a week. You can also get around 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic exercise a week with 2 days of muscle strengthening. So we'll talk about on the next slide what that means, moderate versus vigorous aerobic exercise. But when you get 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic exercise a week, you can do muscle strengthening as well. So that's like lifting weights and things like that. And the last option you can use to achieve your exercise goals is 2 days of a combo of vigorous and moderate aerobic activity plus 2 days of muscle strengthening. So what is aerobic activity? So aerobic activity, as you can see on the slide, can be broken up into moderate or vigorous aerobic activity. Moderate aerobic activity is when your heart rate is up and you're really breaking a sweat. So that includes things like walking, mowing the lawn, doing jumping jacks, dancing, biking, and things like that. And vigorous aerobic activity is when your heart rate is really up there and you're really breathing hard and breaking a sweat. So that includes things like jogging, walking really fast, and doing burpees. So a way to conceptualize this a little further is when you're doing moderate aerobic exercise, you'll be able to speak, have a conversation. But when you're doing vigorous aerobic exercise, you'll only be able to say a couple of words at a time before you have to really stop and catch your breath. So the cool thing is when you're pregnant or postpartum, and postpartum is about 6 months after you give birth to your baby, you don't really have to change these guidelines. The CDC has put together guidelines for pregnancy and postpartum that say that you can really keep doing a lot of the same things that you're doing right now. So if we go back to the previous slide right here, You can continue doing 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week. If you were doing vigorous exercise before you got pregnant, you can continue doing that just as long as you're taking special care to be careful and safe to protect yourself and your baby during this time. And if you're just starting out, then they recommend that you do the moderate aerobic exercise so that you can continue getting the health benefits that you need. Okay, and I'm going to pass it on to Jacob to handle it from here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacob. I'm a nursing student at UT Health San Antonio. So if you can get out, you can stay in and break a sweat. With modern day technology, finding an efficient workout is as simple as a few clicks. These workouts usually utilize a chair for stability, like this one in the first link, whilst focusing on the mother's own body weight. By utilizing mom's own body weight, avoidance of overexertion is prevented. There are also workouts that mom can do with her newborn, like the second link. This can include, but is not limited to, squatting past the 90-degree angle, which is breaking 90, while holding baby close to the mom's chest. This can also be done for lunges as well. What a wonderful way to bond with baby, right? However, you want to ensure that the newborn's head is properly supported during this time and ensure that you are doing these exercises slowly, as a whiplash effect may happen to the newborn. We can go on to our next slide with types of exercises by trimester. Each trimester of pregnancy is unique. Therefore, physical activities appropriate for each trimester differ slightly. Mild to moderate exercise is beneficial during pregnancy. This means at least 30 minutes of moderate physical activity daily or most days is preferred. After the first trimester, women should avoid exercising in a position of lying flat on their backs. In most pregnant women, this position is associated with decreased cardiac output. Muscle strength training with the use of lighter weights or resistance bands and more repetitions done once or twice per week helps improve overall fitness and does not negatively affect the fetus. Heavy weights should be avoided because they may overload joints that are more flexible than normal due to the increase in certain hormone levels. Because of the expectancy of shortness of breath due to the baby taking up some room and not allowing for the diaphragm to fully expand, women should modify the intensity of their exercises based on their symptoms. Listen to your body and stop when you become fatigued. Remember, you're caring for two, so what you feel, so does the baby. It is recommended to avoid exercising to a point of exhaustion, as this may cause uterine contractions. Here are some workouts that we can use or exercises that we can prepare for childbirth. The first one we have is our pelvic tilt, which is pelvic rocking. Helps strengthen abdominal muscles and reduces back strain. Early in pregnancy, the woman can lie flat on her back with the feet flat on the floor, pressing her spine towards the floor and tightening her abdominal muscles. During the second and third trimester, the woman should do the pelvic tilt on her hands and knees while sitting in a chair or standing with her back against the wall. Abdominal exercises are the next one. Simply tightening abdominal muscles with each breath can increase abdominal muscle tone, as during pregnancy, diastasis recti is likely to take place. This just means that your six-pack muscles may partially or completely separate. But do not worry, this is common and normal. As the baby grows, the uterus stretches and begins to push with great force on the abdominal muscles to a point of a tear. Perineal exercises, or Kegels, are next. These increase pelvic floor muscle strength and can help prevent symptoms linked to childbirth, such as urinary incontinence and pelvic organ prolapse. Here we have our exercises during and after pregnancy. And so, like we mentioned earlier, the CDC guidelines do encourage moderate exercise. Some contraindications for exercise are, as therapeutic as exercise during pregnancy can be, there are some signs and symptoms that you want to monitor prior to embarking on this great opportunity for stress relief. Certain conditions do contraindicate exercise. Absolute contraindications to exercise include the following: So some of these are vaginal bleeding, there are open cervix, multiple babies at risk for preterm labor, such as twins, triplets, or quadruplets, and then our chronic medical conditions, such as significant heart disease or restrictive lung disease. Here are, and I'll pass it on to my colleague Amanda, and she will get for the rest of our presentation. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Amanda, and I'm a nursing student. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the precautions you should take with exercise while you're pregnant. So, of course, exercising while you're pregnant can provide many benefits. But before we discuss those, there are a few things you can include into your workout to ensure the safety for you and your baby. So you want to make sure that you are staying hydrated before, during, and after your workout. So it's recommended for women that are pregnant to consume about 8-ounce servings of fluids, so 8 to 10 cups. And you want to make sure that half of those are water. So I know it might be a big jump, like you never drank so much water before, but you can add like lemon or lime to that to make it taste better, or those flavored additives like Mio, but you want to be careful. Some of those might have caffeine, so you want to limit that or just not consume any caffeine at all. You also want to look for any signs of dehydration while you're working out. So if you experience any dizziness, a racing or pounding heart, dark yellow urine, or you notice that you're not urinating as much. Another precaution is to avoid standing in place or lying on your back. So when you stand in place, blood pools at your feet and your legs, and not enough will get back up to your heart. Or when you're lying on your back, your uterus or where the baby is presses up on a vein that returns blood back up to the heart. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough blood everywhere. So you also want to wear a sports bra that protects your breasts while you're running or walking. And in later pregnancy, when you notice that your belly is getting bigger, you can also wear a belly support belt. So it can help with the discomfort while you're running or walking when you're exercising. You also want to avoid getting overheated, especially during your first trimester. So you want to wear loose-fitted clothing. You also want to make sure you're working out in a temperature-controlled room. Because if you're working out outside, you might get overheated from the sun, or it might be too humid. So if while you're exercising and you notice any of these signs, you want to stop and call your obstetrician or your doctor. So if you experience a shortness of breath before you start exercising, don't even exercise, just call your doctor. And while you're exercising, if you feel like you can't catch your breath, just wait a couple minutes. It might be like from while you're working out, but if you still feel like you can't catch your breath, then you want to call your doctor. If you also have muscle weakness, if you experience calf swelling or pain, especially in like one of your legs, if you feel dizzy or you feel like fainting, if you have a headache, especially if it's like a new headache that you notice that you didn't have before and it's like really painful, if you have regular or painful contractions, or if you have a gushing or leaking of fluid from your vagina. So if you notice any of these, don't work out, stop, and call your doctor. So now we're going to discuss the advantages the mommy could have if you do decide to continue your regular workouts after birth. So it can strengthen and tone your abdominal muscles. So you want to work out your abs six weeks after you give birth. So it can help with that. It can decrease the risk of blood clots in your deep veins. So if you remember in the last slide where I said if you feel like calf pain or swelling or anything like that, that's what we're trying to look for, any blood clots in the veins. So you'll see swelling in one leg and pain. It can also boost your energy, and it can help prevent postpartum depression. And we'll talk about what postpartum depression is in the next slide. It can also promote better sleep, so you won't wake up so much at night from like there was no reason for you to wake up, unless of course it was the baby, then you do have to wake up. It can also help relieve stress, and the most obvious, and I think the most wanted, is that it can help you lose the extra weight that you may have put on from having that baby. So now we're going to talk about and shift gears here kind of. We're going to talk about why the mom's mental health is important. So having a stable mental health, so you don't feel like too worried or too sad, just a stable mental health, it can decrease the chance of the mom and the baby's risk of developing a mental health disorder in the future. So that's more of a long term, but there's also a short term effect that stress can have. And that is that it can shunt blood away or shift blood away from the uterus or where the baby is to other vital organs. So your body goes into like power mode and it's like, okay, well, I don't need blood here. I'm going to give it to the heart and I'm going to give it to the legs and wherever blood's needed. So your body doesn't think that your uterus is vital. So the baby won't get enough blood. And if this occurs for a long time where you're stressed, it can lead to complications. So now we're going to talk about postpartum depression. So of course, having a baby can be really rewarding and it can be so awesome and amazing, but it can also be really stressful. Right after you have a baby, it's common for moms to have what's called the baby blues, and it's like a mild, brief episode of like depression, and it's just from you adjusting to like the new baby. It's a new adjustment to life. But as I said, it's usually like a few days or it can be a few weeks. But if it does go on past that, it can be postpartum depression. So this condition is characterized by really intense feelings of sadness, despair. You just like don't know what to do. You might feel really anxious and really irritable. So major symptoms of postpartum depression include restlessness. You may feel very angry or very irritable. You may feel like profound sadness where you feel like crying all the time, or you may feel worthless or guilty, and you may have a fear of hurting your baby or yourself. Or people with postpartum depression may feel overly worried about the baby, or they just might not care about the baby at all or the care of the baby. They may have little or no energy. And because like they're so stressed, they might have headaches, chest pains, a rapid heartbeat, numbness or tingling in the hands or feet. And they may have a fast or a really shallow breathing where they're not getting enough, they're not breathing deeply enough. They may also have trouble sleeping at night, so they're not getting enough sleep. And poor eating habits, such as eating too much or not eating enough. So the reason why we talk about stress and postpartum depression is that pregnant women that exercise have or experience less symptoms of depression. So exercise can help with that. Women are also less likely to develop depression than women that don't exercise while they're pregnant. So of course, it's really beneficial to work out after to help strengthen your muscles, help with stress and all of that. But it's also really important while you're pregnant. It could help with preventing that depression. And also, while you're pregnant, you may see that you may have like a dark line going down your stomach, or you may notice like a lot of stretch marks now because the baby's growing. So it's been found that exercise, at least exercising once a week, can help the mom have a better sense of well-being. So she'll feel better about herself. And it can decrease the chances of depressive episodes that she may have or any other self-esteem issues. So even though like you shouldn't feel bad, that you may feel like ugly or something, you shouldn't. Like what you're doing is amazing. You guys are new moms, but that does come up. So exercise can help with that. And it can be a means of coping with that. So now my friend Jacob is going to finish the presentation for y'all.
Hello, it's me again. So during today's climate and this current climate that we're in, COVID-19 is very prevalent and it does take a toll on the pregnant mom and actually on all members of the family. So what we're going to talk about now is managing stress during COVID-19. So for the first one, make a routine. Consider setting up a feasible routine for you and your family or your household. This can include physical activities, hobbies, chores, anything just to keep a good routine that can overall promote well-being for the family unit. The next one we have is managing your news consumption. Talk about information overload. While we all want to stay informed and up to date, it's imperative that we be mindful of how the constant stream of news is affecting our mental health. Try limiting your media and social media consumption to certain times of the day, or limit the number of times you check your newsfeed to a reasonable number. It's tough, but it's worth it for the mental health benefits. Hide your phones and tablets from yourself. Keep them in another room, but do something to limit your exposure to the onslaught of news. The next one is stay connected. We are all social, and we want to be social and connect with our friends, families, and peers. We know that interpersonal connection are essential for good mental health. Some of us need more, and some of us need less, but just about everyone needs them. So ensure that you're connecting with family and friends on a good basis just to keep up with them, share baby pictures, and everything else. Our last one that we have is continue good health routines. We all know that we need to wash our hands and cover our sneezes with our elbows, but don't forget about your other health maintenance routines during this time. Keep exercising, keep eating as normally as you can, drink plenty of water, and do whatever you generally do to keep up your health. So thank you for your time. Thank you so much for all of you participating in this presentation, as we hope that you have gained some insight into the wonderful benefits of exercising during and after pregnancy.
Wow, amazing. A round of applause for our nursing students and med students. I want to thank you so much for coming out and doing this for the public. And I really, really loved your visuals. Some of them made me laugh. So you did an excellent job. Here at the Children's Shelter, we'll be continuing Mommy Baby series in the fall. And we want to thank all of you for coming in. Remember, if you are a first-time mom or you know someone who's a first-time mom and would like a personal nurse, contact 210-212-2534 for Nurse Family Partnership. We also have Compadre, e-Compadre classes, which are dads teaching dads. I mean, dads need help as well. We have other variety of counseling services. If you're looking to or thinking about fostering, explore us. We have a great development team that will help out with that. And we want to just thank you from our heart for listening to us and being the community that we love to put our work into. #LambFam.